It is November 25th. Episode 11 of The Take comes your way next. Before you do anything, please like, subscribe to the channel, follow us on Instagram at The Take Sportscast, and follow us on Twitter at The Take Sports Pod. NBA draft is behind us. The Knicks got Obi Toppin, the hometown kid from Austin, New York, with their 8th overall selection. Max contracts being handed over, different stars signing everywhere. MLB is starting to get going. The Braves signed Charlie Morton and Drew Smyly to start their regrouping and reforming their rotation. The Mets are not too far behind. Their eyes are all set on the Big Four and Week 12 of the NFL. That's all next on The Take. So not a lot of, there's some of it's crazy, but there's not a lot going on in baseball right now. The Braves signed Drew Smyly and Charlie Morton to get their rotation solidified, having Max Fried and Soroka coming back off injury. So those are two really good signings. Morton got the $15 million that was declined by Tampa Bay. So he still ended up getting the same amount that he was thinking or supposed to be getting paid for the 2021 season. He wanted to be closer to home. He lives in Florida, so Georgia not too far away, and he goes to Atlanta. I know a lot of Met fans are kind of upset about this, and this is a guy that that you might have wanted as their third or fourth guy. I'm okay. It's not the end of the world. Their eyes are still on bigger pictures with guys like Trevor Bauer. They brought in Stroman on the qualifying offer, but Springer, Real Muto, and possibly signing for Lindor. They're in at least on 2 of the 4 guys, and I'm not going to be surprised if they get 2 out of the 4, and it's going to be a successful winner, and then they get pieces for the bullpen. And we all know the many different possibilities. If they get Real Muto at catcher now, you might have to get a lower-end center fielder. If you get Bauer and Lindor, then you might have to get a McCann and again, change up your outfield a little bit with lower-end guys. But overall, the Mets I think, are in a really good position. They're still going to be very aggressive, and they're not too far behind Atlanta in these early signings, as we've seen. The crazy news and the biggest news is young rookie star Randy Arozarena getting arrested in Mexico yesterday after trying to take his daughter from his ex-wife, and he ended up punching out his ex-father-in-law. So When Jeff Passan reported that, I was checking Twitter first thing. He reported first. I was just kind of like, oh shit, this is not good. Especially a young kid whose story is remarkable. They're doing like a full documentary on his story and how he got to Major League Baseball, and then this entire incredible postseason run. The most home runs in one postseason for a player. We don't know where it's going to go, because now this goes with MLB and the domestic violence cases, and this could ultimately lead to a suspension for him. It's pretty sad for baseball, because this is a guy that was looking to be one of your next rising stars. Did not have a lot of playing time this season. He had COVID, and then he came onto the scene, and he kind of created his own legend in a sense. So if Tampa Bay loses him for any part of next season, that's going to be tough. But we'll see what Major League Baseball does. It's just it's because you think about what Major League Baseball has done and these similar situations, and I think as a Met fan, with Francisco Rodriguez with K-Rod when he punched out his father-in-law in a taxi cab. And that whole debacle when he was with the Mets from 2009 to 2011, 2012. So again, up to them, suspension. Again, all domestic violence cases, it could be categorized under that, even if he didn't, hit his wife or anything like that. A lot of things to be seen. There's not a lot reported outside of just he got arrested, and of course everyone's memeing him. Randy Arozarena. Shit. Fuck. Damn. More needs to be said. So we might be talking about more of that in the upcoming weeks with the offseason coming. This could be pretty bad for baseball. Randy was a guy that truly was exciting guy to watch, and I think that even a lot of baseball fans that were watching it, we didn't see Houston Dodgers World Series, but we saw Tampa Bay and the Dodgers, and I think a lot of people were looking at Randy as this focal point on this Rays team. Is he going to continue to be breaking records? What are his stat line for the postseason going to be at the end of the day? Most hits in a postseason, most home runs in a postseason, highest slugging, like OPS or whatever it was in one postseason. This is a kid that came onto the scene at the right time, and like that, who knows what MLB's going to do. We'll see, though. NBA coming up next. Obi Toppin to the Knicks. NBA offseason is in full swing. The draft is over. The Knicks got Obi Toppin, the Ossining kid. If you know me, I live in Croton, literally the town over. Saw Obi play in high school, handful of games at Ossining High School. So it's pretty cool to see it come full circle. And we're going to be able to watch him at the Garden. So we saw the emotion he brought on draft night. He cared so much. This is, the city he grew up in. It meant so much to be back home in New York and play for the Knicks. So Obi Toppin, congrats, brother. That is awesome. Some more news with people. People are signing max contracts all over. People are jumping ship and joining other teams. The one man that isn't moving anywhere, and he's probably not going to be playing for another year, and that's Klay Thompson. He tore his Achilles in a workout. Klay's been working back up to play after the ACL injury. So this is a guy, one of the prime shooters in the sport of all time. Tore his ACL in the playoffs last year, working to get that back. Took this entire year off. Tears his Achilles a few weeks ago. That's another year. So at some point you're thinking, all right, if he comes back, we can still see him shooting, but when it comes to the full player, defense, cutting off screens, moving off ball screens, things like that, I bet you it's going to be in the back of his head of, can I move laterally and vertically the same? I'm sure there's going to be limitations put on him even in a year when he comes back out on the court. It's a shame because I think that the Warriors had probably one more chance to kind of run it back in the sense and have their roster fully healthy post Durant, post them winning, the championships, the 3 that they won. And now I think that window is completely closed. And Steph will be back. He'll be healthy. Draymond, they drafted James Wiseman. They have Andrew Wiggins, who they traded for last year. So I think this team went from being a top 5 seed to now itching and clawing for maybe an 8. It's just it's a rise and it sucks. It's like a rise and fall. It's this sport does not guarantee you much, and just like football, with anything, injuries can always get the best of you. This can get taken away like that, so it sucks. It's terrible for the sport. It's terrible for the NBA that Klay is going to be done, and we're not going to see him on the court for another full year. But moving along to trades and some new look teams. Last week I thought this was a done deal. But Bogdanovich never signed off on that trade to the Bucks. So whatever I said last week, you can just throw out the window. Not the Drew Holiday stuff, but throw whatever I said else out the window. Bogdanovich signed the offer sheet, 4 years, $75, to play with the Atlanta Hawks. Bucks did not match that. Not the Bucks, sorry. The Kings did not match that signing sheet, so he's gonna be an Atlanta Hawk. This Atlanta team's trying to sign some good players. They brought in Rondo. They bring in Bogdanovich, who's a great shooter. They bring a veteran facilitator. They signed Danilo Gallinari. I mean, they're bringing in some solid pieces to go with this young core and try and balance it out. Try and get Trae Young some help. We know how good he is at the point guard position. He's a true all-star caliber player. We'll see, though. I think the Hawks are moving in the right direction, and they could be kind of a sneaky team to possibly look for a little playoff push out of them next year. All right, so some different looks. We saw Gordon Hayward. He opted out of the Celtics contract, and he still ended up getting 4 for $120 from Charlotte. This is an sign-in trade as well. I don't know what's happening. I mean, I get that Hayward wanted to have a bigger role. I mean, we saw with the injuries, he become like the fifth option behind Tatum, Brown, Kemba. Even I think Marcus Smart was ahead of him in touches and do what they could have done with the ball. Hayward wanted to be kind of a number one guy, and I guess going to Charlotte that helps him, but I don't understand if he wants to win. This is a very interesting move. I thought that the Knicks were thinking about going after him to create some buzz. I think they were smart that they kind of just didn't even bother. If they threw him a 4 for 120, as a Knicks fan, I would have been pissed. It would a total overpay. So I'm happy that didn't happen. I still think that the Knicks have a chance to bring in Russell Westbrook, to bring in a contract, maybe get a pick or two, take on his contract, and now we're seeing that the Rockets' asking price is going down because no one's budged on Westbrook and what they want out of him. So I think that could, again, be a good fit. Get some buzz. Russ and Obi, who knows? See, the Garden could get some buzz this year again. As I might have to eat my words a little bit later, but who knows? Now, both LA teams, I like these moves a lot. So the Clippers lose Montrezl Harrell, Sixth Man of the Year, to the Lakers. He goes to the other LA team. I think a great fit for the Lakers. I think Harrell is, with the Lakers losing Dwight, they just traded JaVale McGee. I think he's a stud center. And you think he won't be coming off the bench. He's going to be I think he might start on this team. But if Frank wants to bring him six-man still and separate Anthony Davis and Harrell to be on the court at separate times, just to have two really good big men, that makes sense. They also brought in Marc Gasol. Right, that was another good move, low risk, high reward, 2-year deal, very low risk. And then the Clips go right ahead and they get Serge Ibaka. So Raptors lose their two big men in Gasol and Ibaka. They both go to LA. They go to separate teams. I think the Clips losing Harrell and bringing in Ibaka kind of helps them a little bit, kind of probably gives them the sense of, all right, how much talent, how much do we really lose? I think at this point in their careers, I think Harrell is better than Ibaka. So, I mean, they are losing something. They are losing, again, the reigning Sixth Man of the Year. But I think Ibaka's veteran presence, leadership, definitely helps this Clippers team a lot. Makes for that second unit to be still a strong five out there on the court. Outside of that, you've been having different max deals. Bam getting the max, Ingram getting the max, Donovan Mitchell getting the max. A lot of things still yet to unfold. Free agency, usually NBA, it's a countdown. Things have been accepted already. And until free agency, it's able to get done. So all these things happen very, very quick. We're still waiting. Who knows? The whole buzz about James Harden, like I said before, the whole thing about Russell Westbrook. This Rockets team, I said last week, it's going to get blown up. I think both of these guys are going to get sent off, shipped elsewhere. It's going to have to be a wait-and-see game. Week 12 of the NFL coming up next. I'll go over the min against the spread, our record last week. Saints look great. Bucks stink. Ravens stink. Colts are good. Phillip Rivers, 9 kids. He's still slinging the ball around. Pigskin. That's next on the tape.
Ring ding 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 ding. Ring ding ding ding.
NFL Week 12, and we got only 2 Thanksgiving games now. 2 minutes ago, it was reported that Ravens-Steelers will be postponed and will be played on Sunday. So that sucks. We will not be seeing a primetime Thanksgiving game. So we have the Texans at the Lions and the Washington football team at the Cowboys. Lions and Cowboys, at least, that's consistent. Every Thanksgiving, those are at least the 2 teams that are always playing on Turkey Day. Week in review last week, we went 7-7 in our picks against the spread. Overall, 21-20-1. Game over 500. But last week, I was surprised, and I guess, as we record on Wednesdays, nothing was announced. Taysom Hill ended up being the starting quarterback for the Saints, and I think a lot of people were questioning Sean Payton and going, Why are we giving James Winston a chance? What's going on? Taysom Hill's only thrown 5 passing attempts in his career so far. I mean, he told everyone just kind of like shove it, and Taysom Hill played a pretty solid game. He ran for 2 touchdowns, threw the ball really efficiently, and I know they didn't score a lot, but 20-49, and they took care of the Falcons in a game that I was actually worried about for the Saints. I really thought that this was going to be a lot closer. This is a chance that Matt Ryan was going to start throwing the ball around and taking an early lead. Matt Ryan looked like garbage. The Saints defense looked fantastic. 8 sacks, looked really good. Another team that's continuing to impress me is the Colts. Marquez Valdez-Scantling, he fumbled in overtime to allow them to get the ball back and allow for Blankenship to get the game-winning field goal against the Packers. That was another really, really good game of last week. And they're 7-3. I don't think people are giving enough credit to this Colts team. I mean, I know I'm not, and I fully admit that. Phil's playing very good, very well. He's playing really, really well. Defense playing pretty well as also. And they're tied with the division lead against Tennessee at 7-3. And I think a lot of people weren't sure how this Colts team was going to be this year, I feel like I continue to say. Just a very well-sound team. Frank Reich, a very good coach, and they continue to be one of the top teams in this conference. Now the teams that stink. Another team, AFC North, Ravens, they stink. I mean, they are 6-4 now. They have the Steelers this week, and they'll be playing on Sunday. I mean, they are one of the worst passing teams, and then one of the best. They're the number 1 in rushing. They're one of the worst in passing. And it goes to show you, Lamar is just not playing well, not playing good football. Another team that stinks, the Bucs stink. I had to watch Tom Brady on primetime again throw 2 more interceptions, overthrow every receiver that he had wide open, and the Rams took a W. Another team, Rams. They played great, have not gotten a lot of shine since I feel they lost the Super Bowl against the Patriots. Sean McVay, though, he's just grinding. They're 7-3 as well. The Rams are a very sound football team. I don't think that the Rams defense is getting enough credit this year. Aaron Donald's still playing great. Jalen Ramsey, their number 1 corner. Their secondary is playing very well, but they shut down that Bucs offense. Antonio Brown had a very good game, and Mike Evans caught a touchdown, but Godwin didn't do a crazy amount. Even Evans didn't do a crazy amount. Didn't even surpass 50 yards, I don't think. Brown was the most consistent receiver out of all of them, and they played a phenomenal game. We were able to rush Brady, pick him off a few times. Like I said, the 2 primetime games, Brady's looked like crap. Can't get it done in front of an audience, but this week I'm sure that they'll put up like a 40 spot when no one's watching at 4 o'clock or 1 o'clock. So we got week 12 against the spread. Time to get my timer out. All right, give me a second. Give me 2 seconds. Stopwatch out. Oh, okay. There's a lot of games, so I'm gonna try and get through this pretty quick. Starts now. Week 12, going for a little 21-21, 7-7 last week. Outside of one losing week, we've been pretty good. All right, let's go. Texans -3 versus the Lions. Not enough points. I know it's home. I know it's the Thanksgiving. Texans are better than the Lions. Deshaun's gonna go off. Washington +3 at Cowboys. I thought I wanted the Cowboys here, but I think Washington +3 is a good bet. Very close game. Cowboys did play very well last week and won against the Vikings. Steelers -4.5. I'll take that. Who knows what the line's going to change, but they're not playing at 8 p.m. on Thanksgiving. I like the Jets +7 against the Dolphins, all right? They covered last week against the Chargers. Got a little feeling about that. Browns -6.5 at the Jags. Giants -6 at the Bengals. No Burrow. We'll see how they play with that backup quarterback. Bills -5.5 home against the Chargers. Raiders -3 versus the Falcons. Too little of points. Ravens are a very good team. Cardinals -2.5 at Patriots. Titans +3.5 versus the Colts. Panthers +4 at Vikings. Saints -5.5 at Broncos. Rams -7 at home against the Niners. Chiefs -3.5 versus Bucks. Packers -8.5 against the Bears. Seahawks -5 against the Eagles. 59.71. I know I didn't really give much insight on anything. I guess I'll go down like I usually do, just a little bit. but kind of just the first reactions I can give you. So again, Steelers, who knows if that line's going to change because this game is going to be played Sunday. That's the one I got today. The Jets is just like a petty pick for me. I don't know. They covered against a very good Chargers team last week. They lost by 6. It was 8.5. Who knows? Dolphins, Tua didn't play great last week. He got benched. Yes, he's going to be starting again, but who knows what happens? Maybe the Jets defense plays a little bit better and they squeak out like a 4-point loss again or a 5-point loss again. Browns are on fire, -6.5 at Jags. Jaguars stink. They're almost as bad as the Jets, but not quite. Giants -6 versus the Bengals. I like this spot for the Giants. I could totally see the Bengals covering +6, but I'm not putting in my trust with the backup quarterback of Cincinnati. And the Giants are actually playing pretty good football, and their defense has been very good as of late. Danny Dimes, they're going to get another win, and I think they're going to be in first place in this division by the end of the week. Chargers, Bills. I like the Bills -5.5. Raiders -3 at the Falcons. Being away, 3 points is not a lot. I think the Raiders are a very good team. Cardinals -2.5. I just think the Cardinals are playing better. Patriots are stinking. Cam Newton has not played well. Titans +3.5. I took the Titans against the Colts the first time they played on Thursday night, and I got bit in the ass. And I continue to not take the Colts. But again, divisional matchup. It's hard to take both against the top divisional opponent in Tennessee. I think Tannehill plays better. Derrick Henry ran the ball really well against the Colts on their primetime game. I have a feeling that +3.5 is good. No sense of me saying that the Colts stink again, but I don't think I can't take them in this matchup. Panthers +4 at Vikings. I like that. Even if Teddy doesn't play, I like the XFL kid in Walker. He played pretty well. Although a few mistakes, he played well. I know not against a good opponent, but still at home, still a very good effort. Saints -5.5 versus the Broncos. I'm still taking the Saints. Taysom Hill's second start, probably. I don't see Sean Payton changing anything. So 5.5 at Denver. We'll see. If they'll be running the ball a lot. Hill will be getting some quarterback draws. Kamara getting the ball a lot. Latavius Murray, ground and pound type game. Rams -7. I know a lot of people think this might be a big line, even against a divisional team. The Rams, like I said, are very good. I don't think a lot of attention is being brought to the LA Rams. They took care of the Bucs last week. I know it was by 3, but again, they were underdogs last week. Goff's playing very good football. The run game's been okay so-and-so, but when you got Robert Woods and Cooper Kupp had another great game last week after his struggles, he's got guys. Goff can throw the ball 350 every single game if they want to. Chiefs -3.5. I like this number. I think the Bucs lose again. -3.5. Chiefs go to 10-1. Packers -8.5. This might be a big line for some people. I just think the Bears are in trouble. Who knows who the quarterback is? It's either Trubisky, Foles. It could be neither. Who knows what they're going to be doing? Seahawks -5 versus Eagles. Carson Wentz stinks. Fraud. He is a terrible quarterback right now. Leads the league in turnovers, fumbles, interceptions. It doesn't matter. This guy is not confident with the football. Philly fans, I'm sure you are not confident with him at the quarterback position. He is an absolute mess. It is embarrassing that the Eagles are even in first place right now, whether it be from a half game or whatever. 3-6-1 leading that division. They're done. He stinks. Right into it. I'm going to go right into it before we close the show. Thanksgiving best bets. Now there's no Ravens-Steelers game. I didn't have a play for that game either because there wasn't really lines. Again, they didn't know. Now we know. Game postponed till Sunday. 3 picks. Texans, Lions. Deshaun Watson over 31.5 rushing yards. Plays at -125. Deshaun's been good. He's hit this the last 2 games. He was the leading rusher last week. I can see a lot of deep dropbacks by Deshaun, getting a whole middle of the field, and run all over this Lions defense. I see him going for like 50-something yards this week. I like Zeke to score a touchdown, -140, anytime touchdown. He ran the ball really well against the Vikings last week. Andy Dalton's finally back in, so they actually have some sort of quarterback that is capable of doing the job. Get him into the game. I can even see a lot of some receiving out of Elliott. He had 2 catches. I kind of like the 2.5 over catches for Zeke. I think that's playing at like -135 right now. And then I'm going to go, he was one of my best bets last week. Terry McLaurin over 73.5 receiving yards, -130. He's the best receiver Washington has. He's hit this in every single game besides 2. And the Cowboys secondary, not very good. So I like that play. So those are my 3. Best bets have not been amazing over the past few weeks. We're only now overall record 15-12 plus 3.3 units. I promise you, we're going to get back on a nice little winning streak. Positive days only. Doesn't matter if it's by 0.8, plus 0.8 units, plus all 3 units. We're going to get back to that. But that is our show. Have a happy Thanksgiving. Gamble responsibly. Eat a lot of food tomorrow. If you're with your family, if you're not with your family, keep a distance. Be safe, everyone. We will see you next week.